So, hi everyone, and a quick live stream now. And apologies in advance if I seem a bit fuzzy because I am. So, I just saw a video that I really enjoyed, and it was a non vegan channel interviewing Peter Singer. So, that is the legendary Peter Singer of, um, yeah, the utilitarian who we all know. Um, So Navarro Media is a kind of leftist channel, progressive channel. I think they're all communist or something. But it's really well done, and it's got 100 subs at the moment, which is great. And I was surprised that they did this interview, which was uploaded yesterday with Peter Singer. And I was really, it's an hour long, so it's well worth looking at, I think. And I really enjoyed it because I've never seen Peter Singer in action. And I thought, although obviously he's a utilitarian rather than an abolitionist, I thought he covered some ground that was in a really good way. So the interviewee, Aram Bastani, seemed as though he was a little bit overawed, slightly out of his depth, but very, very respectful, which was so great. He starts off quoting the Dominion verse from the Bible, which I thought was rather extraordinary, given that the team of Navarra are actually supposed to be communist, as a kind of a jumping off point for what people think, what Peter Singer was thinking about, the dominant culture and stuff like that. But one thing I thought Aaron did that was absolutely excellent, apart from reading Peter Singer's book, was he kept on referring to non-human animals. He certainly did it on a number of different occasions in the whole interview. And I thought that was really excellent. So, as I said, it's probably a bit of an early morning call for Aaron because if Peter Singer is in Australia, I've done those early morning interviews and good grief, you're sort of like trying to be awake at sort of like and perky at like 8 o'clock in the morning and not necessarily feeling it. But hey ho, he did a great job. So Peter Singer had some very measured responses to questions around the whole sort of like, using the concept of animal slavery. Did that diminish the notion of human slavery? And Singer was very spot on and saying basically, no, it's a different context. And then he also talked about the way that, dominant cultural ideologies are supported by texts like the Bible. And indeed, the Bible has been used by racists to, there's some text there about the children of Ham, I think he said, which has been used by racist ideologues to suggest that racism is absolutely great as well. So as I said, it was very nicely sort of like reasonable discussion, very enjoyable, where some good points were made and answered. It did sort of lurch into territory of pets a lot. So Aaron's like, "Oh, I've got a dog. Is that wrong?" Um, then he talked about nature as a concept, and Singer looked a bit baffled at this whole sort of like little tranche of the interview. And then he talked a lot about some really horrible experiments, which I don't really want to repeat here. But he didn't really talk about food. And there was a slightly, I felt, I'd be interested what you guys think if you'll actually manage to sort of like look at it. Um, I got the feeling that Aaron throughout the whole interview was kind of a bit like, please don't ask me, please don't ask me, don't ask me, whatever you do, just don't ask me if I'm vegan. Because clearly he isn't. Because apparently this whole platform, as I said, it's 100k subs, which is good, leftist and progressive. When they had 100k subs, which was a few weeks ago, they had a Q&A session, and apparently they were all sort of like laughing and joking about how they weren't vegan. So what's going on there? I have to watch that one. And what I'm thinking is, it's kind of, I think it's really important for us as vegans to get out of the vegan bubble and into a somewhat more progressive and mainstreamy sort of like culture. And that's why I think this video is worth watching, perhaps the 100k one as well, in order to do that. And obviously we can do that in the comments. And I have to say, in the comments of this video, there were loads and loads and loads and loads of very intelligent vegan comments or very kind of like measured, not I'm not quite a vegan kind of comments, but the tone was impressive in its it was very civilized, very, very civilized. And I like that a lot. Kind of quite relaxing and enjoyable rather than some of the sort of like the drama ridden sort of stuff that sometimes we may see more on typical vegan channels. So that was all really good. And Aaron did ask a really great question, which is you write to Peter Singer that animal liberation um, is impossible without human liberation. And Singer was saying yes, because it's the power relationship of humans over non human animals, which spuriously justified by ideologies. And it's a dishonest relationship with other beings and the planet. So I liked that kind of that was put out into the non-vegan media. I thought it was an excellent thing. Um, Now, also in the comments, because I love reading the comments in these things, because I think you learn so much about what's going on, particularly outside the vegan bubble. There were lots of people enthusiastically saying this is a great interview, which it was a good one. It was a good interview. How about Earthling Ed? How about Cosmic Skeptic? How about George Monbiot? Somebody suggested Ronnie Lee, which I thought was great. Oh yeah, somebody suggested Gary Francione, which I thought was also great. I mean, any of these sort of getting the vegan message out into the mainstream, I think is just really good, especially in this very respectful context. And that's kind of really what I wanted to say today. I had been commenting on Navarro Media as Animal Justice Emergency for months now, asking them to sort of like cover vegan issues in the context of content they've put up around COVID, around climate change, I think, various other issues. And I've also on Twitter been one of the other presenters, Ash Sharka, who is great. She's the lady that some of you might remember from she took on Piers Morgan, and she was the one that said something like, I am an actual communist, you idiot, to Piers Morgan, who looks suitably sort of like yeeked by it all. But Ash Sarkar has put a few things on her Twitter about how she's looking forward to dead animal body parts. She doesn't describe them as that, obviously, for her evening meal. And I've just sort of like, put the tweet back up, like raising the whole sort of like vegan issue. So I don't know if any of this has had anything to do with how they've decided to interview Peter Singer and why they decided to interview Peter Singer, but I'm really glad that they did. And I would strongly recommend that you check out this interview. As I say, it's an hour long. It's good. Let me know what you think. Let them know. Let them know what you think. Let them know that you want more vegan coverage. And if you've got anybody that you'd like to recommend for, that they should interview, maybe somebody who's not a bloke would be a lovely, lovely change. I'm getting so bored with watching just blokes talking to other blokes about everything. Anyway, that's me. As I said, I'm a bit sort of spaced out at the minute because of various things that have happened, but I really wanted to connect with you guys and recommend this interview, which I thought was really, really good. So that's it, Navarro Media, and it was called Should We All Be Vegans? And it was uploaded yesterday. So that's it. If you're not already subscribed and liked, please subscribe and like. And the most important thing is really also to ding that notification bell, because I wasn't dinging the bell for a long time on various different channels. So I was missing out on all the channel-y goodness. So that's on this freezing cold grey afternoon. That's everything from the Animal Justice Emergency. And as always, together we can win the war that is being fought on other animals, especially by taking it out of the mainstream. give it a crack. That's my thought for today. You take care, stay safe, stay warm.